Eli had always dreamed of traveling beyond the stars. But he never imagined that his first real chance would be on Sirius 7, a remote human colony at the edge of known space. The colony was small, but bustling, built into the rocky cliffs of a planet with two suns that painted the sky in shades of orange and violet. Humans had carved a home here, far from Earth, and every day was a battle of wits and will against the planet's harsh environment. Eli adjusted his backpack as he walked through the colony's central plaza. His mind raced with anticipation. Today was the day he would finally meet Lyra, a young woman whose family name carried weight across the colony. Lyra's father, Admiral Kale, was a decorated explorer and leader. Eli had heard stories about him from the colony elders. Some said Kale had charted more star systems than most humans could imagine, and others said his judgment was as sharp as any alien technology. Lyra had invited Eli to the governor's residence, a building carved into the cliffside itself, reinforced with layers of alloy and rock. She had told him over the comlink, her voice warm and confident, "My dad will like you. I believe in you." Eli smiled at the memory, though his stomach twisted in nerves. He replied then with steady words he hoped sounded braver than he felt. "I won't let you down." Now, walking through the winding pathways that led to the residence, Eli wondered if he could live up to that promise. He was a young engineer, skilled but untested in leadership. Today, he would face people who had spent years proving themselves. The residence loomed ahead, a mixture of natural stone and advanced human engineering. Solar panels glimmered on the edges of terraces, and small drones buzzed through the air, delivering supplies and monitoring the perimeter. Eli took a deep breath and stepped inside. Lyra greeted him immediately, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Eli, you made it!" She stepped forward and gave him a quick hug. "Come on. Dad is expecting you." Eli followed her into a large hall. The room was both elegant and functional, with maps of star systems projected on walls and tables scattered with holographic displays of ships and colony plans. In the center stood Admiral Kale. He was tall, his posture straight and commanding. Yet there was a kind of warmth in his eyes that reminded Eli of a wise teacher rather than a distant military figure. "Eli," Kale said, his voice steady, carrying the authority of someone used to giving orders. "Lyra tells me you are the engineer she's been talking about." "Yes, sir," Eli replied, standing as tall as he could. "I've been working with the colony's technical team for several years, but I've always dreamed of contributing to something bigger." Kale studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Dreams are good, but action is better. Let's see if you are ready for action then." Eli felt a jolt of adrenaline. He had expected a polite conversation, maybe some small tasks, but Kale's tone suggested that something significant was coming. Before Eli could ask, Lyra stepped forward, her hand brushing against his arm. "He believes in you," she whispered. "Just remember that." Eli nodded, grateful for the reassurance. Kale led them through the residence to a viewing platform that overlooked the colony's orbital station. The station floated above the planet, a collection of rings, docking bays, and defense turrets. It was impressive, even from this distance, and Eli felt a thrill at the thought of being part of its operation. "The station's orbital defenses are failing," Kale said, his gaze fixed on the rotating rings above. "We've had minor attacks from alien raiders for months. They're testing us, probing our weaknesses. If they realize we're underprepared." His voice trailed off. But Eli understood the threat. Lyra squeezed Eli's hand. "This is your chance to show them what humans can do," she said softly. Eli swallowed hard. I can help," he said, trying to sound confident. "I can find a way to fix the defenses before the aliens strike again." Kale finally turned to him fully, the sunlight glinting off his uniform. "That's what I want to hear. Humans are resourceful, Eli. That's what makes them special." You may not have the power of our enemies, but you have the mind and the courage to turn the tide. I will not underestimate your abilities, but neither should you. I will not underestimate. I will not underestimate your abilities. Eli felt both honored and terrified. He had always believed in human ingenuity, but now it felt like a responsibility, not just an abstract idea. Kale gestured toward a set of holographic schematics floating in midair. Eli leaned in, examining the displays. The orbital station was old, patched together with both human and alien technology scavenged from past battles. Several critical nodes were offline, and the station's automated systems struggled to compensate. You will lead a small team, Kale continued. Your task is to repair the critical systems before the next raid. You will have tools, ships, and personnel. But this will test your judgment, your creativity, and your ability to work under pressure. Fail, and the colony is at risk. Eli's heart pounded. This was more than he had imagined. But he could feel Lyra's eyes on him, her belief in him, giving him courage. I won't let you down, he said again, louder this time. Kale's expression softened slightly. I hope not. Follow me, and I'll introduce you to your team. The team was assembled in a workshop nearby. There was Juno, a veteran technician with a quick wit. Terran, a pilot who could fly through asteroid storms without breaking a sweat. And Rhea, a young programmer who specialized in hacking alien systems. They all looked at Eli with curiosity and a hint of skepticism. He had to prove himself not only to KL, but to them as well. We don't have time for hesitation, Juno said bluntly, examining the schematics Eli had brought. The system is unstable. If we don't act fast, the next raid will cripple the colony. Eli nodded. Then let's get started. I've been reviewing the station's schematics. There are a few unconventional solutions we can try, ways to reroute energy and repair nodes simultaneously. It's risky, but it could work. Terran raised an eyebrow. Unconventional, huh? Humans always like the risky ideas. Eli smiled. That's part of what makes us human. We improvise, we adapt, and sometimes we surprise everyone. If Rhea glanced at him skeptically, but there was a spark of curiosity in her eyes. If this works, we might just save the colony. But if it fails, we better have a backup plan. As the team gathered their tools and prepared to board a small repair ship, Eli felt a strange combination of fear and exhilaration. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him, but he also felt alive in a way he never had before. Lyra appeared at the airlock just before the team departed. She gave Eli a small smile and whispered, I knew you could do this. Eli nodded, gripping the controls of the ship as they lifted off toward the orbital station. The planet's twin suns cast long shadows across the cliffs, and he felt a surge of determination. Humans had always faced impossible odds, and now it was his turn to prove why. As the ship entered orbit, Eli looked out at the station. It was massive, beautiful in its own mechanical way, and vulnerable. The repairs would be dangerous, the work grueling, but Eli felt ready. With his team by his side and Lyra's belief in him driving him forward, he understood something vital. Humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, problem solvers, and sometimes, heroes. The orbital station floated ahead, waiting for his courage and ingenuity to meet the challenge. Eli took a deep breath. I won't let you down, he repeated once more. Not just to Kale, not just to Lyra, but to himself. And with that, Part 1 came to a close. The beginning of a journey where human resourcefulness, bravery, and determination would face the unknown, and where one young engineer's promise could change the fate of an entire colony. The small repair ship hummed as it left the landing bay, climbing steadily toward the orbital station. Eli sat at the controls, eyes fixed on the massive structure ahead, It rotated slowly, its rings glinting in the twin sun's light, but cracks and flickering lights revealed the damage that had plagued it for months. "Eli, I hope your plan works," Juno said, her hands already moving over the ship's tool systems. "We don't have much time before the next wave hits." "I know," Eli replied, trying to steady his voice, "but I've studied the schematics. We can reroute the energy through the auxiliary channels and repair the critical nodes at the same time. It's risky, but it's our best shot." Terran, the pilot, leaned back in his seat. "I've flown through asteroid belts and dodged plasma storms, but nothing scares me like a failing human orbital station. Seriously, you humans always find a way to overcomplicate things." Eli smiled faintly. "Maybe. But humans also find a way to solve problems when no one else can. That's what makes us different." The team fell silent as the station grew larger in the viewport. Docking would be tricky. Parts of the outer rings were unstable, and any miscalculation could send their ship spiraling into space. Eli guided the vessel toward an undamaged docking bay, his hands steady but his mind alert. "Docking sequence engaged," he said, and the ship slid gently into the station's bay. The magnetic clamps grabbed the hull, holding them securely. Eli exhaled, and the team began unloading their tools. The interior of the station was dimly lit, with flickering panels and exposed wiring. The hum of failing machinery echoed through the corridors. Eli led the team toward the first critical node, a massive energy converter that controlled the station's defensive turrets. Sparks flew from damaged circuits, and the smell of burning insulation made Eli wrinkle his nose. "First task," he said, crouching beside the node. "We need to reroute power through the auxiliary channels while repairing the damaged conduits. It's going to be tricky, but we can do it, if we coordinate." "Right. Right." Juno nodded. "Leave the tricky parts to me. I've done worse with less." She grabbed a set of plasma cutters and began dismantling damaged panels with precision. Rhea connected her portable hacking module to the station's central system. "I'll monitor energy flow and override failing circuits. If anything goes wrong, I can redirect power instantly." Terran stayed near the docking hatch, ready to pilot the ship out if the situation turned dangerous. "Don't die on me," he said, smirking, though there was genuine concern in his eyes. Hours passed as the team worked tirelessly. Eli's plan demanded constant coordination. Every time he rerouted a conduit, another system risked overload. Every time Rhea adjusted the energy flow, a panel sparked in protest. "This is insane," Juno muttered at one point, wiping sweat from her brow. "Who thought humans could fix this mess in one shot?" Eli grinned. "Humans are insane in the best way. That's why we survive." Suddenly, an alarm blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed, and the hum of the machinery shifted into a harsh, erratic tone. "What now?" Terran shouted, scanning the holographic displays. "Alien raiders," Rhea said, her fingers flying over her console. "Sensors just picked up multiple ships approaching at high speed. They're not far from the station." "No." Eli's heart raced. This was the moment they had trained for, in theory, but never in reality. "Stay calm. Focus on your tasks. The station's defense turrets won't operate fully until we finish these repairs. But we can make it work." Juno cursed under her breath but didn't stop her work. "Let's show them why humans are dangerous when cornered." As the alien ships approached, Eli's team raced to complete the rerouting and repair. Sparks flew, panels glowed red, and the station shuddered. With every minor system failure, Eli stayed focused, issuing commands and making split-second decisions. "Rhea, divert extra power to the turrets as soon as the converters are stable," he instructed. "Juno, hold the main conduit in place. Terran, stay ready to maneuver if needed." Minutes stretched into tense hours. The alien ships grew larger in the viewports, their dark hulls sleek and intimidating. They fired probing laser blasts that shook the station's structure, but did not breach it. Eli realized the aliens were testing them, gauging human capability. Almost there, Eli muttered, hands flying over control panels. One more adjustment. A spark erupted near the energy converter, sending a jolt through the floor. Juno yelled, catching herself on the panel. "We need more power stability. Now!" Eli quickly rerouted a secondary line, channeling extra energy to the node. The sparks faded, and the hum of the system steadied. The turrets slowly came online, their barrels turning toward the incoming alien fleet. "Defense systems ready," Eli announced. The aliens fired a concentrated blast, testing the turret's response. The energy shields held, and the turrets automatically returned fire. The aliens hesitated, clearly surprised by the humans' improvisation. Eli's grin widened. "We're not just surviving. We're fighting back." Terran adjusted the ship's auxiliary controls, keeping the station's orbit steady while the turrets engaged the enemy. Rhea continued monitoring the system, making subtle adjustments to maximize efficiency. Juno worked tirelessly, repairing minor damage as it occurred. Eli felt a surge of pride. This was human ingenuity at its finest: coordination, creativity, and courage combined to stand against a more powerful foe. They were small, yes, but they were clever, adaptable, and determined. The alien fleet, realizing the humans were prepared, changed tactics. Instead of attacking directly, they tried to disable the station's engines to force it into a collision with the planet. Eli's mind raced. "Divert auxiliary power to the engines," he shouted. "Stabilize the station." The team moved as one. Power rerouted, engines hummed to life, and the station slowly corrected its rotation. The aliens fired again, but the humans' quick thinking made every strike ineffective. Eli realized something important in that moment. Humans were underestimated, because they didn't always follow logic the way other species did. They adapted, improvised, and acted boldly. And in that unpredictability lay their strength. After what felt like an eternity, the alien ships disengaged. They hovered at a distance, scanning the station with curiosity and caution, before finally retreating. Eli and his team exhaled in relief. "We did it," Rhea said, disbelief in her voice. "We actually did it." Juno laughed, wiping her soot-covered face. "Humans. Always finding a way." Terran shook his head, smiling. "I still can't believe we survived that. You humans are something else." Eli looked around at his team, feeling a deep connection. "We survived because we worked together. And because humans never give up, even when the odds are impossible." A soft chime sounded from Eli's communicator. Lyra's voice came through, calm but excited. "Eli, the colony heard about the fight. They're amazed. You proved what I already knew. You can do incredible things." Eli smiled, a warm feeling spreading through him. "Thanks, Lyra. I couldn't have done it without my team." The orbital station creaked as systems stabilized fully. The threat had passed. For now. But Eli knew this was only the beginning. Alien raiders would return, and humanity would face even greater challenges. Yet he felt ready. Today, they had shown that humans were resourceful, brave, and capable of turning the tide against seemingly unbeatable odds. As the team gathered in the control room, Eli glanced at the holographic projections of the colony below. Small lights dotted the rocky terrain, each one a human home. A reminder of why they fought. "We saved them," Eli said quietly. "Humans can do anything when we try. And this is just the start." Juno slapped him on the back. "Don't get too poetic. We have repairs to finish before the next attack." Eli laughed. But inside, he felt a sense of pride he had never known. The colony had survived today because humans dared to act, dared to think differently, and refused to surrender to fear. Lyra's voice came through again, softer this time. I knew you could do it, Eli. I believed in you. 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 Eli's heart swelled. He had promised not to let her down. Today, he had kept that promise. And tomorrow, he would face new challenges, stronger and wiser than before. Humans were special, Eli realized. Not because they were the strongest or the fastest, but because they never stopped believing in themselves and each other, even when the universe seemed against them. And for Eli, that belief had carried them through their first real test in the stars. Eli could feel it in his bones. The alien raiders were not finished. The retreat earlier had been temporary, a chance for them to study the humans' tactics and weaknesses. As he walked through the orbital station's control deck, inspecting the repairs, a sense of urgency pressed down on him. The station's systems were functional now, but only barely. Every panel, every conduit, every turret had been patched together with precision, creativity, and a little luck. Rhea was already monitoring incoming sensor data. They're coming back, she said, her voice calm but tense. This time, the fleet is larger, and they've adapted. They're scanning our defensive patterns and learning from the last encounter. Eli frowned. They've underestimated humans before. But now, we'll show them why that's a mistake. Juno and Terran were reviewing the station's remaining vulnerabilities. If they hit the engine rings directly, the station could tumble out of orbit, Juno said. We need a new plan. Something unexpected. Eli paced, thinking quickly. The solution was not to fight harder in the same way, but to use human ingenuity in ways the aliens wouldn't predict. They were clever, yes, but they relied on patterns, logic, and brute force. Humans could act unpredictably, improvise, and create solutions that defied expectations. Here's what we'll do, Eli said finally, a spark of excitement in his eyes. We're going to use the station itself as a trap. The outer rings are unstable enough that if we lure the aliens in, we can manipulate their movement with controlled energy bursts. It will look dangerous, but it's actually calculated. The aliens will never see it coming. Terran whistled. That's insane. But I like it. Juno raised an eyebrow. Insane usually means deadly. Eli grinned. Exactly. But deadly for them, not for us. We just have to be precise. Rhea typed rapidly, integrating his plan into the station's systems. I can control the energy pulses to create force fields at exact points, she said. It'll take coordination, but it can work. Hours passed as they set up the defenses. Eli led the team, checking every calculation, ensuring every conduit and turret was ready. He felt the weight of responsibility again, but also the confidence that humans could overcome almost anything through ingenuity, teamwork, and determination. Finally, the alien fleet reappeared on the station's sensors. Dark shapes moved silently through the void, sleek and ominous, their numbers greater than before. Eli's heart pounded not with fear, but with determination. Remember, he said to the team, we're humans. We're clever, adaptable, and resourceful. They might have superior technology, but we have something they can't predict. Trust your instincts, trust each other, and act quickly. The first alien ship fired a probing laser, testing the station's defenses. Eli's team activated the energy pulses, creating a sudden, unexpected shield that absorbed and redirected the attack. The alien ship faltered, scanning for weaknesses that didn't exist. Good, Eli muttered. Now they'll think they understand our systems, but they don't. Using his plan, he guided the aliens into the unstable outer rings. Controlled energy bursts nudged the ships toward the weakest points, forcing them into positions where the turrets could target them more effectively. The aliens tried to adapt, but every move Eli anticipated. Human intuition, improvisation, and unpredictability gave them the edge. The battle raged, tense and chaotic. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the station shook under the combined forces of alien attacks and internal strain. But Eli remained calm, issuing commands and making split-second adjustments. "Divert auxiliary power to the shields," he shouted. "Tighten the outer ring's rotation. Keep them in position." Juno worked furiously on the main conduit, repairing minor failures as they occurred. Rhea adjusted the energy flows, anticipating alien movements before they even happened. Terran piloted the auxiliary drones, using them to distract and mislead the alien ships. Eli realized a profound truth in that moment. Humans survived not because they were strongest, but because they could think differently. They could improvise, coordinate, and act boldly where logic alone failed. That unpredictability, that spark of creativity and courage, was what made them formidable. An alien commander ship appeared at the center of the fleet, larger and more heavily armed than the others. Its sensors locked onto the station, calculating the perfect angle to strike. Eli knew this was the critical moment. "Focus on the commander ship," he ordered. "If we take it out, the rest will scatter." The team worked together, synchronizing turrets, energy pulses, and drone maneuvers. Eli guided the ship's remaining power through the auxiliary systems, creating a concentrated energy net that trapped the commander ship in a controlled gravitational flux. The alien vessel struggled, its thrusters firing in every direction, but it could not break free. "Now!" Eli shouted. The turrets opened fire in a precise pattern, and the commander ship was disabled without a single human casualty. The rest of the fleet, seeing their leader neutralized, hesitated and then retreated, vanishing into the darkness of space. Silence fell over the station. The alarms stopped. The hum of machinery returned to normal, and Eli exhaled deeply. The team gathered around him, exhausted but victorious. "We did it," Rhea whispered, awe in her voice. "We actually did it," Juno laughed, a mix of relief and disbelief. "Humans always find a way." Terran shook his head, still smiling. "I can't believe we survived that." "Eli, you're incredible." Eli looked at his team, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. "We survived because we worked together. And because humans don't give up. We improvise, adapt, and fight when others would surrender." Lyra's voice came through the communicator, soft and warm. "Eli." Eli smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond pride. He had promised her he wouldn't let her down. Today, he had kept that promise. Kale's voice followed, steady and approving. "Well done, Eli. You and your team have proven what I've always believed. Humans are clever, resourceful, and courageous. You didn't just save the station. You showed why humanity cannot be underestimated." Eli felt the weight of those words, and a new understanding settled in him. Humans might be small in number, without alien technology, and often underestimated, but they had something no one else could replicate: imagination, courage, and the ability to act against impossible odds. "Thank you, sir," Eli said quietly. Kael's approval resonated in the room, but Eli's attention shifted to the station itself. It had survived, but it bore the marks of battle. Repairs would continue, and the humans would have to remain vigilant. Yet for the first time, Eli felt a deep confidence. Humans could face the unknown and emerge victorious. "Eli," Lyra said softly, "you've shown everyone what humans are capable of. You didn't just fix the station. You inspired hope. And sometimes, hope is as powerful as any weapon." Eli looked out of the viewport at the stars, feeling the vastness of space and the fragility of the human colony within it. Yet he also felt something else: potential. possibility. And humans could rise to any challenge if they trusted themselves and each other. The team gathered one last time in the control room, exhausted but triumphant. Eli looked at each of them in turn, Juno, Rhea, Taryn, and felt a profound sense of gratitude. Together, they had faced the unknown, improvised against impossible odds, and triumphed. Eli thought of Lyra's words, of the promise he had made. He realized that being human was not about avoiding danger or weakness, it was about rising above it, using mind and courage to achieve what others deemed impossible. And in that moment, as the orbital station floated steadily above the planet, Eli understood something vital. Humans were special, not because they were the strongest, fastest, or most advanced, but because they could defy expectations, act boldly, and survive when no one else thought it possible. Eli smiled. The stars stretched endlessly before him, filled with dangers and mysteries, but also opportunities. Opportunities to prove, again and again, what humans could do. He turned to his team, exhausted but full of life. "We've done something incredible today," he said. "And this is just the beginning." The orbital station hummed quietly, its systems stable. The alien fleet had retreated, but the universe remained full of challenges. Eli felt ready for whatever came next. Humanity had survived, and humans had shown their greatest strength, ingenuity, courage, and the unbreakable will to succeed. For Eli and his team, the turning point had arrived. They had faced the unknown, outsmarted a superior enemy, and emerged victorious. And they had done it together, humans at their very best. The stars awaited, vast and uncharted, and Eli knew that humanity, with all its flaws and brilliance, was ready to meet them head-on. The orbital station hummed steadily above the rugged planet of Sirius 7, a quiet reminder of the victory Eli and his team had earned. The battle with the alien raiders was over for now, but the work of repairing the station and securing the colony was far from complete. Yet Eli felt a new sense of confidence. Humans had proven that they could face the unknown, think creatively, and overcome even the most formidable challenges. Lyra greeted him as he stepped back onto the planet's surface. Her smile was warm, the same smile that had encouraged him when he first arrived. "You did it, Eli," she said softly. "You really showed everyone what humans can do." Eli looked at her and nodded. "We did it. I couldn't have done it alone. The team, they were amazing. Juno, Rhea, Taryn, they made this possible." Lyra laughed lightly. "I know, but you led them. You kept them together, kept them focused. That takes courage." Before Eli could reply, Admiral Kyle appeared, his expression serious but approving. "Eli," he said, his voice carrying the weight of command and respect. "You've not only saved the station, but you've also proven something greater. Humans are clever, brave, and capable of thinking in ways others cannot. Today, the colony owes its survival to your leadership." Eli felt a surge of pride. Kale's words were more than praise. They were an acknowledgement that humans, despite their smaller numbers and lack of advanced alien technology, could shape the future. "Thank you, sir," he said. "I only did what I hoped anyone in my place could do." Kale shook his head. "Few would have thought to act with such creativity under pressure. Humans have always been underestimated. Today, you've reminded everyone why that is a mistake." The following days were filled with repairs, recalibrations, and strategic planning. Eli and his team worked tirelessly, not just fixing the station, but strengthening it for future threats. Every system, every conduit, every turret was improved. The station was no longer just functional. It was formidable, a testament to human ingenuity. Juno clapped Eli on the back one afternoon as they finished a particularly tricky repair. "I have to admit, I doubted your crazy ideas at first," she said, laughing. "But you were right. Humans really do think differently." Rhea nodded. "We could never have predicted every move the aliens would make. But your plan accounted for possibilities they didn't even consider. Humans are clever, in ways no one else is." Taryn smirked. "And don't forget stubborn. That's also very human." Eli smiled. "Stubbornness is just determination in disguise, and humans never give up, even when the odds are impossible." As the station stabilized, the colony began to recognize Eli's leadership. He was invited to meetings with Kale and other senior officers, consulted on strategy, and asked to train younger engineers. Eli realized that this was more than personal recognition. It was the beginning of something larger. Humans were showing the galaxy that their strength lay not just in courage, but in ingenuity, teamwork, and adaptability. One evening, as Eli reviewed schematics in the observation deck, Lyra joined him. The planet below glowed under the twin suns, and the stars above sparkled with the promise of exploration. "Do you ever think about what's out there?" she asked, her voice soft. "Beyond this system? Beyond Sirius 7? Eli looked at her, thoughtful. "All the time. And I believe humans are ready for it. We've survived impossible odds, faced unknown threats, and proven that creativity and courage can overcome superior technology. I think humans can go anywhere, do anything." Lyra smiled. "I always believed in you, Eli. And now, everyone else can see what I saw from the start. Humans are special. They just need a chance to show it." Eli felt a warmth spread through him. He had promised not to let her down. Today, he had honored that promise. Tomorrow, he would face new challenges, and he would rise to them with the same determination. A comm alert sounded, breaking the quiet. Eli activated it to see Admiral Kale's face. "Eli," Kale said, his tone formal but proud. "The Colony Council has been reviewing the reports from your mission. They are impressed by your leadership and the way your team handled the alien attack. They want you to take a more permanent command role, overseeing the station and preparing the colony for future exploration and defense." Eli felt his chest tighten with pride and responsibility. I accept, sir. I won't let the colony down." Kale nodded. "I know you won't. You've proven yourself, Eli. Humans have a spark that cannot be measured in numbers or firepower. You've shown what makes us remarkable. Look, gone for remarkable. Some other well. Gone for remarkable." The announcement spread quickly across the colony. Eli was hailed not just as a hero, but as a symbol of human potential. Children in the settlement whispered his name in admiration. Engineers and pilots sought his advice. Even the older, experienced leaders began to recognize that humans had an edge that no one else had, a combination of courage, creativity, and unyielding determination. Eli took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought him here. From the nervous engineer, meeting Lyra and Kale for the first time, to leading a team against superior alien forces. Every step had tested him, but humans had prevailed. Not because they were strongest, but because they never gave up, never stopped thinking, and never stopped believing in themselves and each other. He walked through the colony one afternoon, watching children play near the cliffs, and young pilots practice maneuvers. He saw families working together, engineers tinkering with machines, and explorers preparing for missions into the unknown. Every face carried the same potential he had witnessed in his team, the spark of human ingenuity and determination. Lyra caught up to him, walking beside him in the golden light of the twin suns. "You're going to change things, Eli," she said. "Humans are going to be remembered for what you did here." Eli smiled. "No, Lyra. It's not just me. It's all of us. Humans have the ability to rise to the challenge, to overcome impossible odds. That's what makes us special. Today, it was the station. Tomorrow, who knows? Maybe the stars themselves. CZDC. Megadin corded C. To Argrid 10. Optent subscribe to Way. Today it was the stars themselves. Kale joined them, his gaze on the horizon. Eli, leadership is more than giving orders. It's about inspiring people, making them see what's possible, and helping them believe in themselves. You've done that. Humans are ready for anything now, because of what you've shown. Eli felt a deep sense of purpose. The journey was far from over. There would be new threats, new challenges, and new adventures. But he knew one truth. Humans could face the unknown and thrive. Their courage, creativity, and determination were unmatched. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Eli stood on the cliffs overlooking the colony. The twin suns' light bathed the settlement in gold and violet, a reminder of the beauty and fragility of the home humans had carved from the harsh planet. He thought of his team, of Lyra, of Kale, and of all the people who had trusted him. "I won't let you down," he whispered, echoing the promise he had made from the very beginning. And for the first time, Eli felt that the universe itself was listening. Humans had survived impossible odds. They had faced superior forces and prevailed. And now, with determination, ingenuity, and courage, humanity's journey among the stars was only beginning. The colony would grow. Humans would explore new worlds, face new challenges, and continue to prove that their greatest strength lay not in technology or numbers, but in the heart and mind of each individual. Eli had led the first step, but countless others would follow, inspired by what humans could achieve when they believed in themselves. The stars stretched endlessly above, full of mystery, danger, and opportunity. Eli's eyes shone with excitement and determination. Humanity had begun its rise across the galaxy, and he would be there to guide them, to protect them, and to prove again and again that humans were capable of greatness beyond measure. Lyra squeezed his hand gently. "The future is ours, Eli." Eli smiled, looking at the stars. "Yes, Lyra. The future is ours, and humans are ready." As night fell over Sirius 7, the colony's lights twinkled like stars themselves. Humans were alive, determined, and unstoppable. And somewhere in the infinite universe, new challenges awaited. But humanity, led by courage, intelligence, and the belief in themselves, would meet them head-on. Eli knew it, Lyra knew it, Kale knew it, and now, the entire colony knew it. Humans had left their mark on Sirius 7, and soon, they would leave their mark across the stars.